And welcome back to Who Would Win. And today's Who Would Win, or tonight's in this case, given the time I'm getting this out, comes to us from White King, who asked the question, who would win a fight? Nova from the Nova Corps versus Firestorm of DC. Now, when comparing these individuals, I can kind of see a comparison to them. Nova, I've actually done once before. Nova is there isn't really no Nova Corps left. He's kind of like the sole remainder of it. As a member of Nova Corps, he's had some combat training, but he's basically now the sole proprietor of the Nova Force, an energy that gave all the Nova Corps their power. And because of that, he possesses the majority of it. He uses it to augment his physical abilities, his energy capabilities, his flight capabilities, everything like that is augmented. To a point where physically he can trade blows at individuals like Annihilus. Who was someone else? Why don't I just get it up right now? It was like Annihilus was definitely one of the big ones. In terms of just physicality wise. Nova Prime, I think that's what we're referring to right now. Nope, that's a planet. Nova, Taylor, Nova, different, different Nova. Um, let's see here now. All right, there we go. So let's get down here. Oh yeah, he can go like toe to toe with individuals like the Silver Surfer, who is very powerful in his own right. When we're talking about holding his own, not overpowering, but holding his own. Speed wise, he can move faster than normal human can, just like running wise. He's even stated that his best shot, like a punch, can destroy everything within 3 miles. You basically using his full power. So yeah, he can stalemate the Silver Surfer in physical combat. Stamina wise, he can go for a long while without tiring. Durability wise, he is powerful enough to withstand attacks from beings as powerful as Annihilus, who is a world ender kind of character, and even withstood a near point blank range attack, which was from Galactus, which was so powerful. It encompassed and destroyed more than 3 solar systems. So he's got solar system level durability to him. Reflexes and agility, that's all on the superhuman side. He does have a healing factor, but he can't heal lost limbs. Flight wise, he can fly at hypersonic speeds, but doesn't do so within atmospheres of plants because that can be detrimental to the planet. He just chooses not to do that when he's in an atmosphere. Energy generation, he can channel the Nova Force to expel the energy and informs extremely powerful concussive blast. They often use in combat situations. A few of the other abilities is the ability to manipulate Nova Force to create hyperspace portals in space, to release extreme powerful gravimetric pulses and beams, either from specific parts of his body or whole planet. Basically, he was able to lobotomize Ego the Living Planet, which is not a small feat to do. He has access to the Xandarian world mine. Aside from housing Nova Force, he is also host to this, which is a sentient collective created to govern and maintain all forms of the Xandarian culture. The world mind contains all knowledge contained by the Xandarian people, including art, science, history, and philosophy. Can access any aspect of this technology by communicating with the world mind verbally or mentally. As a result, it's basically like his Jarvis, more or less. It can help him contain the whole Nova Force while keeping his mind and sanity intact. Download profiles of opponents directly to his rider's mind, it's Richard Rider is the actual Nova. Detect nearby energy surges, can assume the control of Rider's body as he sleeps, access other computer systems, analyze attacks, including detecting adrenaline surges in the body, detecting approaching superhumans with energy-based powers, enables him to hack satellite broadcasts, can protect him from psionic manipulation and using psychic shields. Weaknesses, though. Using his Xandarian world mind maintains both his mood and stability, but without it, utilizing the full power of the Nova Force would overcome Rider's mental stability, causing a severe mental breakdown and possible insanity. He is also bonded with so much of the Nova Force at this point, for so long, that his molecular structure of his body cannot survive for more than 2 days without it or an appropriate substitute, like Quasar's quantum energy. So basically, essentially, if you could steal or rob him of the Nova Force, you could kill him or just defeat him. He wouldn't be much better off than a normal human. Firestorm, though. Firestorm in DC Comics. Now, let's see, where are we? There we go. I believe that's the right one. Yeah, Firestorm, he said, the original Firestorm was distinguished for its integral dual identity. Essentially, what the Firestorm is Firestorm is like a matrix of some kind. It's difficult to explain, but a Firestorm itself is not a person per se. It is a, one second here, Firestorm Matrix. Okay, Firestorm Matrix. It is sometimes confused with alien physiology. Unique physiology in terms of used to describe the nature of some characters that have certain advantages. Oh wait, that's not the one we're talking about here. It's essentially a unique physiology, more or less. In Firestorm's case, and yeah, I mean, I got redirected to physiology. Essentially, the Firestorm Matrix is a unique physiology that essentially allows for a lot of complex tasks and absorption and integrating. So essentially, the Firestorm Matrix itself allows for element density control. Elements tied to the Firestorm Matrix have complete control over molecules, and as such can change the density of solids, liquids, and gases as light as hydrogen or as heavy as uranium. Edict memory, or basically a photographic memory. You can just recall anything. Total recall. Energy absorption. Elements tied to the Firestorm Matrix can absorb massive amounts of energy, as well as being able to absorb many different types of energy. Most commonly, the elements and energy associated with life in the human body are absorbed. Also, solar energy is a possible source of energy that can be absorbed. I mean, basically, like an emergency battery, as they describe it. Energy projection. Now, naturally occurring energy projected by firestorms are nuclear blasts. However, elements can project a number of different energies as well. So, in general, they are the equivalent of, not necessarily in power, but in the type of energy they are. They are like a nuclear blast in some ways. But he can use multiple forms of energy: enhanced vision, X-ray, microscopic, thermal, flight. He can soar through the sky at amazing speeds. At first, it may have been difficult through flight. Quickly, he's been clocked over 300 miles. Theoretically, he can fly much faster. There's no proof on that, however. Molecular reconstruction. Elements tied together into the Firestorm Matrix create Firestorm. To create Firestorm, have one main ability which all others stem from. Their atomic fusion or nuclear nature stem from the nuclear physics, tempering with the user's mixture of psychic energies as well as physical properties. Users accessing the Firestorm Matrix or accessing Firestorm are called what'd you just do? God damn it. I was reading that. Are called elements as they individually make up the matrix. Firestorm can break down and reapply subatomic particles as well as break up the molecular structure of elements and rearrange them. To do this, the element must know the exact element makeup of the object or human. Most firestorms cannot affect living tissue, but it's possible though very unstable. So that's going to be a very key factor in that. Phasing tied to that, basically he can phase his body through solid objects. Psychic link, sometimes called floating heads. Basically the elements that embody the matrix. So however many people, I guess, can float around psychic link and they can communicate. Regeneration, though a majorly untested power, he can regenerate from large sections of misplaced or destroyed physical properties. Self-sustenance, he doesn't need to eat or anything like that, but though they can. Superhuman durability, tied to the Firestorm Matrix, receives a increased amount of resistance, durability. They can survive bullets and stab wounds as well as physical damage of exploding constantly. Sorry, it is late and I am just wrecked. Superhuman strength. Certain elements can tap into the energy and become large, hulking entities. Basically, they can increase their strength and physical muscle mass. They can also become like large, hulking entities with increased strength, but it can be quite destructive on the host if not used sparingly. And transformation from their normal forms into Firestorm. So Firestorm is a very interesting individual. Now, in terms of powers, the whole molecular thing, if it wasn't for the fact that, or molecular, or like the subatomic thing, if it wasn't for the fact that it's not very, there's no effective way to use it on a living body unless they know exactly what the human's comprised of. It would have probably given him the win automatically in this fight, but it doesn't. So, how did this fight take place? I see it as Nova somehow gets transported to the DC universe, goes to Earth to see if he can get help from like the Avengers or something, and he finds that the Earth this is not his Earth. He must be somewhere else, or something has happened on Earth while he was gone. So then he just runs into Firestorm, and they kind of square off. He demands to know what's happening. Excuse me. Firestorm's like, no, I'm not going to tell you that, and you need to leave before something bad happens to you. I don't think he'd actually say that, but and then the fight goes down. Now, from a pure physical standpoint, Nova beats Firestorm right out. Right out, he beats him because he's strong enough to be in the 100-ton tier. I don't think Firestorm's anywhere near that strong unless he decides to go hulking, and that can be detrimental to his health. Durability wise, also, I can tell you right now, Firestorm is not a multi-solar system level durability individual. He's just not. He can take a hit certainly, but he's not that durable. So Nova's definitely got the advantage in that round. So he's going to come in with a punch Firestorm straight and just back. And Firestorm reeling, then comes back, starts firing some energy blasts. Nova's getting around. He fires some energy blasts back. Firestorm absorbs those energy, throws it back at Nova. Nova just kind of blocks it. And, he's about to come in again, just rushes in. But Firestorm just phases, and then molecular controls, basically summons a large thing of, like, I'm trying to think of a durable metal, iron, steel. Let's say you can make steel out of thin air. Because remember, rearranging molecular structures turn hydrogen into basically uranium or something like that. So you can turn gas into a liquid, a solid, whatever. So he makes basically just a wall appear, and Nova just goes boom, flies right into that. Firestorm now comes in, starts beating on him a little bit. Nova's taking some hits, but he's taking harder hits before. It's nothing serious. So then once again, he now tries to he gets a lucky blast Firestorm away. Firestorm's able to shrug it off for the most part, though it still kind of hurt. And they're facing off again. Firestorm tries to fly out, basically get away from the town. Nova just tails right after him with no problem. Firestorm's throwing some different types of energy at him. Nothing's working. However, he still remembers that guy has a unique type of energy. And with all the information available to him from all the different elements involved in Firestorm, he can pinpoint that it is a sort of life energy. The Nova Force is a life energy, particularly in Nova's case. So now he basically stops. Nova tries to basically blast him. He's just absorbing. He's flying right in, and suddenly he grabs Nova. He starts draining. He's just basically draining him. He's draining him dry like a battery. So it's like Nova quickly realizes what's going on. The world mind is telling him like what's happening. He's like, I need to. We need to do something real fast. Like, and then he eventually is able to get loose. I'd imagine like he would headbutt him, just boom, smash him straight in the head. Because I would doubt he'd have any issue of really fighting dirty at all if he had to. But now Firestorm's basically absorbed a lot of that energy. And now he's got it at his disposal. So now he's throwing it back in his face, except he's probably tweaked it a little bit so he can't use it. Because he can. It's not just it's not just the energy he has available, like the nuclear, or he can use multiple energies. I'm certain he can mix them together. His energy by nature is actually nuclear, so he can he'd probably maybe mix and match that. So Nova probably couldn't use that energy again. Nova at this point would be severely tired. He'd be very weak. He might try to manipulate some gravity to some degree. That wouldn't really work much on Firestorm. He'd do his best, but the real problem with this is the fact that Firestorm, while he does have a limit to how much energy he can absorb, he can easily just absorb as much as he had to and then just release it, tweak it so he can't reabsorb it back, and then just absorb more. So he can basically just drain Nova dry. And that's a very big problem. Add to the fact that you have molecular manipulation in there. Now that I actually don't think would play a severe factor in the fight against Nova, because Nova's gone toe to toe with the Silver Surfer, who's who has a vast molecular control. He's very skilled molecular manipulator. But it could still maybe affect the outcome. Overall, though, it's the fact that Firestorm can phase, and he has the energy absorption and redirection. So ultimately, I actually have to lean towards Firestorm, even though Nova's the far more. Excuse me. Even though Nova is the far more durable one between the two, it is it is Firestorm. I think I'm going to give the win to. I think though I'd go about 75% of the time. I think there's a scenario where Nova could just blitz him, especially if he can get him into orbit and because they can both survive in a vacuum. So if you got Firestorm into space, I think at that point he could basically just blitz him at that point and just wail on him and knock him out. But I think the likely case is that uh, that Nova loses the fight. I think Firestorm actually would take the fight, and it's a lot of that again comes to the energy absorption of Firestar. So I go Firestar in this fight most of the time. But what do you think? Do you think different? That's cool. Put in the comments below. Let me know. But thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. As always, if you want us to review something, put in the comments below. Let us know. We'll do a review of it at some point. Ideas for who would win, Star Wars, Super Magic, what if anything I do on the channel, put that in the comments below as well. I'll get to that at some point. So, yeah, that's it for tonight. Box office, and the last of the actual week of who would wins is tomorrow. So, keep your eyes out for that. I'm behind. So yeah, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. Have a good night.